ever get that feeling, like chasing after something.
Yeah.
And it might not even be real.
Oh, yeah.
Like that perfect love or, the dream job or like that elusive happily ever after.
Totally.
Well, LunaRover's debut single, Chimera.
Yeah.
It dives right into...
Head first.
Yeah, head first into that feeling.
Absolutely.
And we're going to unpack it all in this deep dive.
I love it. And what's fascinating is that they do it with this sound that's so incredibly catchy.
Yeah.
Like this 80s synth-pop sound.
Totally.
The minute the track started for me, I was like transported back to my high school days.
Oh, wow.
Jamming out to Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Tears for Fears.
I know, it's so 80s.
It's so 80s.
Well, like there's this modern twist. That keeps it from sounding dated.
Absolutely.
So LunaRover, for those who are just tuning in, is made up of Ben Pelletier, Kevin Reith, Tench Tillman, and Artem Zuliev. They formed in Silver Spring, Maryland.
Interesting.
But here's a fun fact.
Okay, I like fun facts.
They met in high school.
Oh, wow.
And one of their first gigs was playing at their senior prom.
How about that?
Talk about coming full circle.
That is a great anecdote.
Right.
It makes you wonder, if any of those early musical experiences kind of inspired the themes in Chimera, because this song, it's not just about, a catchy beat.
It's deeper than that.
Yeah. It's about like navigating, the complexities of relationships and like coming to terms with the fact that sometimes what we're chasing is an illusion.
Yeah, like a chimera.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's dive into that a bit deeper.
Okay.
The lyrics are so clever.
Yeah.
They paint this picture of someone clinging to this idealized vision of love.
Right.
Even though the relationship is clearly over.
Oh, yeah.
That line, you were a vision in my head.
Yeah.
A figment of my design. Like, that really struck me.
I like that line, too.
It's almost like the singer is admitting to creating this fantasy world and refusing to see the reality of the situation.
And Kevin Reith's vocal delivery really drives that point home, I think.
I think so, too.
There's this rawness, vulnerability in his voice that's completely captivating.
Totally.
You can hear the heartbreak in it.
Yeah.
But also this, hint of defiance.
Yes.
Like he's still clinging to that hope, even though deep down he knows it's futile.
Oh, it's so sad.
It is.
I felt that too, especially in the chorus.
Yeah.
Where his voice just soars over those layers of shimmering synths.
Right.
Those synths, by the way, are pure 80s gold.
Oh, yeah.
They create this dreamy, almost ethereal atmosphere.
Totally.
That really sucks you in.
It really does.
To the song's emotional landscape.
And let's not forget.
Oh, yeah.
Artem Zuliev's saxophone solo.
Sax solo.
Like, come on.
I know.
It's not like a typical instrument you expect in a synth pop track.
You don't hear that every day.
No.
But it adds this
unexpected layer of sophistication.
Yeah, and the way it weaves in and out of the melody is just masterful.
It is.
To fully appreciate what we're talking about.
Okay.
I think it's time to let our listeners hear a snippet of the song.
I think so too.
We were
as you listen, pay close attention to that interplay between Kevin's vocals, the synths, and that incredible sax solo. It's a perfect example of how LunaRover blends their influences to create something truly unique.
Definitely.
That saxophone solo, I mean, it's a great example of what makes this band so interesting. It's unexpected. But it works perfectly.
It does.
Kind of like their whole origin story.
Okay.
Did you know that Ben, the keyboardist, originally wanted to be a chef?
No way. Yeah. That's hilarious.
It just goes to show you that, you know, sometimes life takes you on these unexpected journeys, and those detours can lead to amazing things.
I love that.
Speaking of journeys, Chimera takes the listener on quite an emotional ride.
It does.
We hear the narrator grappling with this realization that the person they loved wasn't who they thought they were.
Oof.
Like they built this whole relationship on an illusion.
Right.
A chimera, as the song title suggests.
Exactly. It's such a powerful metaphor.
It is.
For, you know, those times when we idealize someone or something only to be disappointed by reality.
Right. And I think that's something most of us can relate to.
For sure.
We've all had those experiences where we put someone on a pedestal only to realize later that they're human, just like us, with flaws and imperfections.
I remember this one time. Okay, maybe this is a bit embarrassing to admit.
Go on.
I had this huge crush on this guy in college.
Okay.
He was in my literature class. And I was convinced he was this brilliant, brooding poet.
Oh, like a modern day Byron?
Yes, exactly.
What happened?
Well, it turns out he was just really good quoting Keats from memory.
Oh, no.
And he wasn't actually that deep.
Oh.
In fact, our conversations outside of class were painfully boring.
Wow.
My whole perception of him was shattered.
So it sounds like you had created your own chimera in a way.
Totally. And listening to Chimera brought all those memories flooding back.
Interesting.
It's a reminder that sometimes our perceptions of people, especially, you know, in those early stages of infatuation, can be so far from reality.
And that's where the song's message really resonates, I think. It's not just a sad breakup song.
Right.
It's about confronting those illusions we create and learning to see people for who they truly are.
Yes.
Flaws and all.
And also learning to accept ourselves.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Flaws and all. Because sometimes the chimera we're chasing is an idealized version of ourselves.
Exactly.
That's a great point.
I love that LunaRover isn't afraid to explore these complex themes in their music.
Me too.
You know, it's what makes Chimera so much more than just a catchy pop song.
Absolutely. It's a song that makes you think.
Yes.
It makes you feel. And it leaves you with this sense of hope. That even after heartbreak and disillusionment, there's always a path forward.
Speaking of paths forward, the production of this song is so well crafted.
It is.
It really takes you on a journey.
It does. It starts off subdued.
Yeah.
Almost contemplative with that steady percussive beat.
And then it gradually builds.
Yes.
Layer by layer.
Layer by layer.
The synths swirl around.
Kevin's vocals.
Right.
Creating this sense of yearning, like reaching out for something.
Yeah.
That's just out of reach.
And just when you think it can't get any more intense, that saxophone solo,
it kicks in.
Kicks it.
It has this whole other level of emotion.
It's like the song itself is mirroring the emotional arc of the lyrics.
Yes.
Starting with that sense of longing, building to a climax of heartbreak.
Right.
And then ultimately resolving with this feeling of acceptance.
Yeah.
Even if it's tinged with sadness.
And that resolution is so beautifully conveyed in the final chorus.
I agree.
You can hear the shift in Kevin's voice, the subtle change in tone that suggests a sense of peace, a letting go of the past.
It's subtle.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly powerful.
It is.
And it's a testament to LunaRover's ability to tell a story, not just through their lyrics, but through the music itself. It's like they're using every element of the song.
Right.
Every note, every beat, every breath. To create a complete emotional experience.
And it's an experience that leaves you wanting more.
It does.
It's just a taste of what LunaRover is capable of.
Right.
And I, for one, am incredibly excited to see where they go next.
Me too. They've proven themselves to be more than just a nostalgic throwback act.
Right.
They're innovative songwriters and musicians who are clearly pushing boundaries and exploring new sonic territories.
And what I find particularly refreshing is that they're not just chasing trends.
Right.
They're creating something authentic and meaningful, something that speaks to the human experience in a way that's both relatable and profound.
Exactly. Chimera is a perfect example of that.
I agree.
It's a song that resonates on so many levels.
Yeah.
And it leaves you with something to think about long after the music stops.
And for our listeners who are ready to embark on their own sonic journey.
Oh, love it.
With Chimera.
Yeah.
You can find the link to the song in the description below.
Do it.
Trust us, it's a journey worth taking.
You know, one thing that struck me as we were listening to Chimera was how LunaRover seamlessly blends these 80s influences with a modern sound.
Absolutely. It's like they took a time machine.
I know, right?
Back to the era of synth-pop.
Yeah.
But brought along some serious 21st century production techniques.
Right. It's that blend that makes them so unique.
Totally.
They've mentioned artists like St. Vincent.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama Shakes as inspirations.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
And you can hear it in their willingness to experiment with sound and texture.
It's funny you mentioned those artists. Yeah. Because when that saxophone kicked in,
I know.
I thought for a second, is this going to be like a St. Vincent-esque breakdown?
Right.
But then it morphed into this beautiful, almost melancholic melody that felt very much in line with the emotional tone.
It did.
Of the song.
And that's what's so clever about their use of the saxophone. It's unexpected in this synth-pop context.
Right.
But they make it work.
They do.
On so many levels.
It adds this layer of depth and emotion that's really hard to achieve with synths alone.
It's almost like the saxophone becomes a voice in itself.
Right.
You know, expressing that raw emotion that the lyrics are hinting at.
I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
It's like a conversation between the vocals, the synths, and the saxophone, each adding their own layer of meaning to the story.
And it all comes together.
It does.
To create this incredibly rich and immersive listening experience.
Speaking of immersive experiences, have you seen any of their live shows?
I haven't had a chance yet, but I've heard they're incredible.
They are.
Apparently, they incorporate a lot of visuals and lighting effects that really enhance the music.
I was lucky enough to catch one of their shows.
Oh, wow.
A few months back. And it was truly mesmerizing.
Really?
They had these giant screens behind them projecting these abstract images that shifted and pulsed with the music.
That's so great.
It added this whole other dimension to the performance.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I definitely need to check them out live.
You should.
Yeah.
It's an experience that you won't forget.
I bet. It's like stepping into their musical world.
It is.
And based on what we've heard today with Chimera, I have a feeling that world is going to be pretty expansive.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Chimera is just the beginning for them. It's a strong statement of intent, a sign that they're not afraid to take risks and push the boundaries of pop music.
They're a band with a vision. You know, a unique voice and a clear passion for what they do.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes them so exciting to watch.
Exactly. So for our listeners who have been on this deep dive with us, we encourage you to seek out LunaRover's Chimera and experience it for yourselves.
Yes.
The link to the song is in the description below.
And let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
What resonated with you about the song?
What are your own chimeras?
Yes. Those illusions you might be chasing in your own lives.
We're always eager to hear your perspectives.
Yeah.
And continue the conversation.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.
Keep exploring the world of music.
There's a whole universe of sound out there.
Yes.
Waiting to be discovered.